everyone.
Hello, welcome back.
Yes. In case you don't know, I'm Pam.
I'm Mari-Lyn.
And we're here with another video. We thought this would be a really great video to do. We get asked all the time about how do I know that I have activity in my home? Or people think they do, and we go in and they don't. So,
But then how many people do we talk to too that just, they want the vibration of their home raised?
yes,
They don't think they have activity.
yes.
They do.
And they do.
They
Yes.
do. Yeah.
So we just thought we'd give some examples of how you know.
Yeah, because one size doesn't fit all.
It does not.
No, not at all.
No. So first of all, like we always say in all of our videos, if you think you do, you most likely do. However, that doesn't always hold water.
Not always.
With the rise of ghost hunting videos, people, it spooks them out. All the haunted stuff that's out there, it spooks them out, and they start sort of, I hate to say it, but imagining that they have activity, or they call it in.
Exactly.
Happens a lot.
Yeah.
Happens a lot. They call it
in
through the videos. So as much as
Now, that doesn't mean that just by watching the video,
no,
you're calling it in. You actually have to invite it in.
yes, and
So
many people do because they don't understand what they're doing, and they want to experience it, especially
Yes.
younger people. Certainly, we were teenagers once.
it's exciting.
We remember, yes,
It makes you special.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
whatever.
yes.
Yeah.
And you've been watching our videos long enough, especially our clearing videos, that especially kids, teenagers into their 20s, and we're not talking, and some older folks as well, but they want it so badly, they call it in, and then it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
And then they don't know what to do. And we do get those calls to come in and clear homes. If you're under 18, we have to have a parent permission, and so we'll often sit with the parent prior and get permission and talk, and they are none too pleased with their children.
None.
Never have we had a parent say, "Oh, it's just fine." Typically, what happens is the parent starts noticing things that are going on, and then goes to their child and say, "Do you notice anything? Has anything been happening? Have you done anything?" And then the kid has to sort of confess, and it's gotten to the point. So anyway, yes, it happens. It happens a lot. And for all of you who really want to experience it, I don't know what to say to you. I really don't.
Get over it. Sorry. Sorry.
Don't never do. And you've heard us say this a lot too. Never ghost hunt in your home. Don't have cameras in your home. Don't have any of those devices. Don't do any of it at home, because you will call it in. So, and as you can hear and sort of see in the background, we are in a public space. That's just what we had to do this time. We've been so busy. We don't have as much time together. Then there's vacations, this one, that are coming up. So you might see more of this. You might see us doing more Zoom stuff just for the next few weeks, maybe a month.
You might not see us at all.
You might
on
not
a
see us
Friday.
at all. Yeah, so just know if that happens, or if one of us does a video without the other one, that doesn't mean we broke up or something.
Not at all.
That doesn't mean it at all.
No.
Just means we're
just living life.
We're just living life, and you know, this time of year is always busy for both of us.
It is.
Not only with just our career and services. And speaking of that, we've had a lot lately. People want their homes cleared, but they don't want to put it on video.
Very true.
So we once again always we are in such gratitude for those who allow us to put those clearing videos here on YouTube for you.
Very grateful for that.
Yes, and it does invite people or give people permission.
It gives them permission, I think.
Yes.
To reach out for help and to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And to give someone else permission.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so if you have activity, home, yard, in your business, wherever it is, TCS, everydaypsychics.com. You can reach us through there and we'll help you with that. All right.
Yes, indeed.
Should we get on to...
We should.
Yes.
We should.
So I think we wrote some notes so we wouldn't forget things.
Well, because there's so much.
Yes.
There's so much that we could easily take something for granted that, you know, we think everybody knows and actually nobody knows.
Correct.
Like being ungrounded.
Yes. Yes. That's a big one. Yes. When we are ungrounded and we tend to, how do I put this? When you're ungrounded, you sort of bleed into other dimensions. You bleed into the other levels. And depending on how ungrounded is how much that happens.
Yes.
But you can experience things and you can see things and hear things because you sort of tap into the collective.
Right.
And so we get that too happens a lot, especially with activity.
Yes. And that's not to say if you're an ungrounded person, you walk around your house all the time ungrounded, that you have activity. However, if you have activity and you're ungrounded, you are going to experience more of what's happening.
And that includes, I know right now we're talking about in your home, but when you go out into public and you get ungrounded, think about the times that you go out and all of a sudden you get mad or you get really sad or you just feel heavy and dense and what,
or you're bumping into things or you're bumping into people.
Yes. You're ungrounded. Yes. So that lends to feeling activity around you when there really isn't actually activity around you. It can do both.
It can do both.
So that's something to be aware of. So, but in your home, I think the most common one, and you might disagree, but the most common is you feel like you're being watched. You feel like there's someone in your home, or you walk into a room and you kind of stop and look around, or you pull the shades or whatever it is. You look outside. That's probably the most common way that people know that they have activity in their home.
I would agree. And right up, I think probably pretty equal to that is I see something out of the corner of my eye.
Yes. Yes.
And you look and there's nothing there. But what's interesting is when people see something out of the corner of their eye, they always know what they saw.
Always. Yeah, they'll say they did. I'm not sure. Well, I turned and looked and nothing was there, so I don't really know. Then you start questioning.
But I saw a man.
Yes.
He was wearing a hat. Or I saw a woman. She was wearing a Victorian dress.
Yes.
I saw a cat.
Yes.
And it's amazing. Oh, I just saw a flash out of the corner of my eye. But they always know what it is.
Yes.
That's so fascinating.
So part of that is because they're not focused. With our human eyes, we focus in on what's here. When we look, you've seen all of our videos, we're looking into things.
Right.
And we're not using our physical eyes.
Right.
We're using our clairvoyance. So it's a sort of if I might say, like sort of a lazy way of looking. It's a lazy in 3D. It's a lazy way of looking. That's what happens on the corner, out of the corner of your eye. That's what I think anyway.
It's like a soft gaze.
Yes. And so you'll see it out of the corner, but you're not going to see it directly on because we're staring at something. You're looking at whatever is in front of you or around you. So, and that can be quite startling.
It can be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
those are, so those are really,
I think those are two of the main things that happen.
yes.
But then there's the internal, the feelings.
Yes.
That feeling of unease, agitation, stress, emotions that you have no explanation for.
Yes.
Sadness, the anger.
Yes. Now, anger, you've watched enough of our videos. The people in the house are arguing a lot. Someone has anger issues. Things are happening. That can also be unhealed trauma that's happening. And so it may have nothing to do with paranormal. However, if there is something paranormal, if there is an earthy in your home, or just that really low vibrational energy, the grids are all messed up, it can trigger that within you to bring that up. Or you're feeling the entity who is really angry, and it's causing those issues. So that's another thing, those sort of unchecked, where is this emotion, and whatever the emotion is, sadness, it's never going to be, well, I shouldn't say that. Oof. I almost went to...
Never say never.
Never say never. No. What I was going to say, it's never going to be like you feel all this joy and laughter. And real joy, no. However, you can just start laughing out of nowhere, but feel into that. Does the laughter match the energy?
Right.
The feeling of it, that emotion, the emotion. Because as we all know, earthies live in a lower vibrational dimension. They do not have love in that dimension.
No.
They do not have pure joy and happiness, gratitude. They do not have all of that. So when you do hear a laugh or something, it's a little more on the, they think something's funny, something bad happened and they think it's funny, is more often what we see and what happens. So, yes.
And you touched on it briefly, but the relationship issue. There can be so much strain put on relationships.
Yes.
When you notice a difference in a relationship when you're outside the house,
Yes.
as opposed to being inside the house,
Yes.
clear sign.
Yes. Yes.
Very clear sign.
And most of this stuff clears up when you leave.
Yes. Very good point.
Yes. If it's triggered something within you, if it's triggered some trauma, some unhealed trauma, you'll feel it. You can feel it even when you leave and so forth. But for the most part, you feel better away from home. You come home, you go to grab the doorknob to walk in the house, and you go, oh boy. And then you walk in because you know you're going to start feeling yes, that's a yes. So that happens, yes. Or you experienced this. Something was outside and you couldn't wait. You want to tell that?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a period of time, this was a number of years ago, a period of time, had to have been winter, because it was dark by the time I got home from work, and just going from the car to my front door, I could not get in the house fast enough. I kept looking, my front door, and then, the house kind of goes out, and I'm like waiting for somebody to jump out and like grab me. Nobody's there.
Nobody's there.
But it's similar to that being in the house and somebody's watching me.
Yeah.
But it's intensified when it's outside. Yes. There's so much more room for it to grow. And so many more places it could be hiding. Yes. Yes, to jump out at you. Yeah. Yes. And there's another thing. Thank you for bringing this up. In the house, you don't want to go into certain rooms because they just don't feel right. Yeah. No, I'm just going to close that door. I don't need to go in there anymore. Yes. Yeah, that happens a lot as well. Another thing would be illnesses. The physical.
Because it will always manifest in our physical bodies as illnesses. Headaches, nausea, on these illnesses that just come on. Doctors can't figure out what's going on. Unexplained. Thank you.
Heart issues are not uncommon.
No. Which clear up. Which we've cleared many a home where someone has had heart issues. The doctor's like, I don't know what to tell you. There's this arrhythmia thing going on. We don't know why. And they're, all of these things are happening. Yep. We clear up the house. Usually it's a spirit, an earthy doing that to the person. As soon as they're gone, we cross them over. Clean bill of health.
All better.
Yeah. And it happens with a lot of different illnesses. A lot of them. If you still have those illnesses after we clear, I think that's a real positive sign. Now you know. There's
Yes.
an extra, okay, I know it's not this.
Yes. In those cases, though, it's always exasperated when the
Always,
activity
always.
exasperated.
Yes, you might still have it, but it's usually better if you had activity in your home, whatever that illness is, you still have it, but yes.
And then there's the extreme lethargic.
Oh, yes.
Lethargic. I don't know what I want to say.
Yes. You feeling lazy, you don't want to do anything, you have no wanting to get up and even just clean the house or go out
And
talk to people. Like, it can really mask a
depression.
very depressed. Yes.
Yeah, depression. And if that's something that's typically not in your wheelhouse.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely something to give second thought to. Also, unusual OCD.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
We've seen that a lot.
And I say unusual because if you're not typically OCD and all of a sudden you've become OCD about something, there's a good inkling that there might be something going on in your home.
Yes, absolutely. In certain situations, we've talked about this, is getting jumped. That's not the same thing as being possessed.
No.
That's very different.
Very different.
So an earthy, if they've, not even if they've been around a long time. So let's say Mari-Lyn, since she has had this happen.
I have had
I'll
this
use
happen.
you as
Yes,
an example.
please do.
And you've heard us talk about this. So if you've watched enough of our videos, you probably know this. But I don't even remember now. This was there's very typically an unhealed empathy bond between the earthy and the person.
In my case, it was abandonment.
Abandonment, yes. And this earthy left her body, and one of the traumas in her life, and even how she died, there was a lot of abandonment. So she was an earthy, she felt abandoned. Mari-Lyn had, no longer has it, but had that wounding, and it's like the energy of the earthy slips right into that wound, and you get really confused. You don't know. Well, you can talk about how you felt.
I took on so much of her emotion, and in my case, she died in a fire. Her whole family died in a fire.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody crossed over but her. So there's her abandonment. And the emotion, the grief, the pain was so overwhelming.
Yes.
Um,
I'm like, why is Mari-Lyn like bawling right now? What is this? And then I went, oh.
I don't remember. I don't know how much time. I mean, it could be like 20 seconds that I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I believe I was down on my hands and knees.
Yes, it was a couple of minutes. It wasn't 5, but it was under 5. But there was a few minutes because I didn't catch it. Well, not that, but I was with another group, and we were walking up on you, and it's like, what? Why is she crying? And then I saw it. Then I realized what was happening. But,
and then I just remember hearing Pam yelling at me.
Yes, and I wasn't actually yelling. I was very stern and loud, but to get across to her, because you have to get through the earthy to the person. And what typically happens though is that can't be sustained for very long. So like 5 minutes is a super long time to be jumped. Yeah, that really is a long time. So that kind of thing can happen in your home as well. So earthies can jump you in your own home, and
it's intense. It is really intense.
Zaps your energy, like you have no energy for a while.
I remember we went out for dinner afterwards.
We always go out for pancakes after we do a healing, an in-person healing.
I'm just sitting there staring off into space.
Yes.
Huh? Did you say something?
Yes. 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 And unfortunately, we had not had the time to talk about what happened yet. and we were still just getting to know each other. Like now I can say that I regret not doing more for her at the time. I was my reason, it's not an excuse, a reason, I had a group of people and I had a lot of people to look after. So unfortunately, this situation is a serious situation. I sort of let fall away and I didn't do something soon enough and enough after. However, she now is pretty well versed in that.
I am.
Yes.
I am.
So,
and it's my fault.
Yes.
I mean, I take full responsibility. I'm the one that had to go down the hall
and go poking around,
thinking, okay,
yeah,
I got this.
Yes. This is also why you never do any of this alone. You never do any of this alone. So that happens in your home. If you feel like you can't get it's just sort of like a minute, maybe 2 minutes, even 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You start to feel like you're having these thoughts that aren't yours. You start to feel very drained. You're confused. You don't understand. Maybe you start feeling things that you hadn't felt before, like maybe your heart hurts, or you're feeling real nauseous, back pain, something. And then most of that goes away and you're just left sort of drained and wondering what the hell just happened. Oftentimes it's because you've been jumped. And that's very serious. If you have an earthy in your home that wants to continually jump you, you will get the illnesses. I mean, it runs the gamut of what can happen. People have to have serious medical attention if it happens a lot.
And if you are already compromised physically, it's a real danger.
Yes. So that would be that's a pretty big thing. Yes, you have activity if that happens. Let's see what.
So what can also happen is you can become codependent with this earthy.
Yes.
Whether they continually jump you or not.
Yes.
But you can be very codependent with them. You can believe you have a friend, you have a real companion living with you, and you don't.
And one of the things about codependence that is true there's many different types of codependency, but the one silver thread sort of through it all is you think you're helping other people. That's the biggest part of codependency, is that's why you're in a codependent relationship, because I'm helping them. They're my friend. They're my what? But it all comes back to how you're feeling, not what's real. The real situation here is this is not a healthy relationship. The codependence, you think it's a healthy, and you think you're helping and you're giving so much of yourself because this person needs it. No one needs that much. No one. So codependency is a huge part of why we don't get contacted.
Yes.
Or people contact us, as soon as we contact them back, we don't hear from them again.
Crickets, nothing.
Because they don't want to give up. That there tend to be
I just said crickets, nothing. Crickets are loud. I don't know where that comes from.
Yes, that's true.
I said it and I could just hear, the dead of night, and there's like crickets.
It's pretty still, except for the crickets.
It's so loud. So I don't know. I don't know where that comes from.
Yes. So
sorry.
That's okay. I speak Mari-Lyn. I do. So let's see. What else do we have here? You treat it like a pet. You get up in the morning and it's almost like, I have to go feed them now. I have to go water them now. I have to take care of them now. There's always that thinking of this entity over yourself.
Your life revolves around it.
Yes.
You put it first and
That's
foremost.
That's a very dangerous situation.
Very dangerous, yeah.
And it is, we've said it before, it is an abusive relationship. You are in a domestic violent relationship.
Yes.
It is DV. It absolutely is, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You start isolating yourself from everyone around you.
Mm-hmm.
People don't want to come over. Like it is very abusive. You give up so much of yourself and you get nothing in return. Excuse me.
You think you are getting something in
That's part of
return,
the
though.
codependence.
That's the codependence.
You
You think you are. It's well, and it's not unfamiliar to addiction or alcoholism.
Correct.
Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we've ever seen someone who's not codependent and all of a sudden becomes codependent with an earthy. You usually have that in you, and that earthy fills that
Right.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I would agree with that.
yeah.
I would agree with that.
Have we talked about? And then things could be moving and falling, disappearing. That stuff that absolutely happens. It does. It's really not as common as the other things.
Exactly. And I think that's what people think. These are the things that people think
Yes.
it means.
Yes.
That you have activity.
Yes.
Things are falling over. They're disappearing. Things are getting moved. The TV.
Yes. Electrical stuff
Electricals.
happens.
Yep.
Now, especially when one of you we hear this all the time. One of you is going to email us for help, and the email won't go through, and things aren't happening, or they're typing and it's not typing what they think they're typing. They can mess with, because they know who you're contacting.
Yep.
And so things can really ramp up at that point, and that happens.
Yep.
There's another thing. There's a lot of this is nightmares. It's nightmares can happen for a lot of reasons.
Oh boy.
Lots of reasons, yes. And sometimes they feel like nightmares, but I really wouldn't call it a nightmare. You know, when our brain is sort of doing a brain dump or ego dump,
Right.
weird things happen, and it can
Yeah.
be really scary. I always say check for message. What could be a message here for you? Talk to someone. There's even a lot of, they're not always correct, I get it, but looking up, dream interpretations and just see if something fits. It could also be the planet placements at the time. For me, I rarely ever have dreams that I remember. When I fall asleep, I go so far out, I'm just out traveling the world and talking to people and doing things. When I do have dreams that I remember, I really pay attention because it really doesn't happen. And it's usually right around a full moon,
New moons.
a new moon,
New moons
or at
are
certain times. August, September, October are big. October to November, as we all know, the veils are much thinner. People's dreams open up. You tap into the collective. And yes, earthies and even crossed over loved ones can come through during dreams.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That happens a lot.
Absolutely. They do.
So
on vacation that I just came back from,
yes.
I actually
And
had.
yes, she will be going again. Just
I will.
FYI.
I actually had an earthy in my hotel room, and of course, it wasn't until the next day, and I'm talking to my husband, and we're kind of going. I'm like, wait just a minute. I think there was someone in my room. So I have to message her and say, okay, feel into this. Was there somebody there? And she's like, duh.
Psychic much?
But I had a horrible dream. Well, it was her life.
Yes.
It was her life. I did end up, I crossed her over after I finally actually talked to her.
Yes.
Heaven forbid I do that when she's like right there with me.
Imagine, yes.
Yeah.
So even, I don't know if I should say even, but you've all heard us say we ignore stuff all the time. Because of what we do, we draw in a lot, and we don't allow that to be in our homes. We don't allow anyone to stay in our homes, ever. No earthies. I don't care what's going on. You're not allowed in there. But they do come through sometimes. Many times we wake up and there's someone standing on the side just looking at us,
Yep.
waiting for us to
Yep.
wake up or
Yep.
whatever.
Now, this particular one in the hotel room, she came in with me when I came in the door and she slammed it shut as soon as I got in.
Yeah.
I remember screeching.
And then she tried to lock your husband out, didn't she?
And then she locked my husband out.
Hey, that's really funny.
I had to get up and let him in because he couldn't get in. He had the key, couldn't get in.
Yeah. So
She had bad experiences with men.
that was also in Reno.
It was.
Which is well, that's a whole Reno, Vegas.
man.
I mean, there are some places that are just so much tragedy.
Tragedy.
That's the
so
word.
much. There are so many places
Yes.
that I have gone into in Reno with my husband. We walk in and I'm like, no, I'm out.
See ya.
If you want to check this place out, I will see you on the sidewalk because I am out of here.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
doing it.
Yes.
And that's been, I mean, for years.
Yes.
For years and years.
Yeah. Well, in this building that we're in, this is very old, and there have been spirits checking in on us and going out. There's not much we can do. If they ask for us to cross them over, we will, but we don't have permission to do that. We're in a McMiniman, so if any of you, we wanted to do a McMiniman's tour and go to all of them
We
and help,
did.
and we got the big kibosh. Like, do not come in and do that. Part of their business is people coming in, enjoying. So that's really hard for us, but yes. But we love
digress.
coming. We do love coming, so we decided to do it here today. This was the time that we could find to get together, and it worked out for us to be out of the home today. So I think we've got pretty much everything. If you have more questions, go ahead.
Please ask us. Put them in the comments. Send us an email.
Yes.
Through our website again, TCS, everydaypsychics.com.
Yes. And as you know, it is not healthy. You might think you're having the time of your life, having activity in your home. It's not the place to have it, and you are being affected even though you don't at the moment believe it.
You are.
It tends to be a very slow build.
Yes.
And shit's happening all over before you even realize it.
Yes. And then there's the other side. The earthbound spirits that are in your homes deserve to be crossed over. They deserve the healing.
Yes.
Even
low vibrational beings. Everyone, I know I don't always say it when we're, during our videos when we're doing a clearing and there's a low vibrational being. They always have, before I have them taken away by my spirit teams, they have a chance to cross over.
Always.
So they always have that offering. Because they deserve it. Every soul, which we're going to do a video on that too. What is a soul? Every soul deserves the opportunity, no matter how. And we've had people get pissed at us because we're being so nice to the ghosts because they've been terrorizing them. So of course the person is upset and they're screaming at them, and I don't effing want to be nice to them. We don't look at all that. We look at the soul itself, and every soul deserves the opportunity. So, yes. So, please reach out to us if you have questions or if you would like your home cleared. And please, if you'll allow us to put it on our channel, it's really very beneficial.
It is so beneficial.
Yes. But either way, we will help you.
Yep.
Absolutely. And we have a bunch of students. They get to learn as well by the ones that we don't put on our channel. We use those as teaching tools. And although I gotta say, if you go to our website, you'll see the paranormal team. They're all professional. They're not students anymore, but they, I think they kind of think they are, but hate to break it to them. They are fabulous. But there's a few of them on there. There's a few that haven't quite got to that level yet, but they will. So it's very helpful. Either way, everyone gets help. When you reach out to us.
Absolutely.
So, All right, I think this is probably it.
I think so.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We absolutely adore all of you. We appreciate you. Ask your questions. If there's a video, we want to do more of these videos and sprinkle them in.
Yep. Yes, please give us your thoughts,
Yes.
your ideas.
Give us topics.
Give us topics.
A video topic.
Yep.
Doesn't just, and sometimes your question can be a full topic, but give us a topic and we will. Very often, it's never just one person ask the same question.
Very rarely.
We get a plethora of that same question, at least
Love that
somewhere
word.
within a plethora.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites, as you all know. All right. So
Okay.
thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
And we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.